The movie opens in a nightclub, where seemingly drunk and vulnerable Cassie is targeted by three men. While two make crude jokes, a third, Jerry, appears helpful, offering to take her home. However, he diverts to his apartment, giving her more alcohol and making advances. Cassie, who has been feigning intoxication, suddenly reveals her sobriety, calmly confronting Jerry and scaring him. The next morning, she records his name in a notebook, suggesting a pattern of similar encounters. She lies to her parents about her whereabouts and shows disinterest in her career, indicating a deeper purpose to her actions. Cassie's routine involves feigning drunkenness to expose predatory men. She's not violent but forces them to confront their immoral behavior. This mission is driven by an unrevealed past event involving Nina, whom Cassie speaks to as if she's still present through an old photograph. Her life takes a slight turn when she reconnects with Ryan, an old classmate, and they begin dating. We learn Cassie was once a promising medical student, but dropped out. Ryan's casual mentions of other classmates, particularly Madison, who has recently had twins, and a man named Al Monroe, evoke a strong, negative reaction from Cassie, hinting at their connection to Nina's past. Cassie's silent mission for justice intensifies. She sees Madison's congratulatory comment on Al Monroe's engagement online, which visibly upsets her. Cassie then invites Madison to a restaurant, subtly getting her drunk while staying sober herself. As Madison becomes intoxicated, Cassie steers the conversation to Nina and the bad event that happened years ago. Cassie is disappointed when Madison still blames Nina, calling her untrustworthy. Frustrated, Cassie leaves, but not before giving a man at the bar a hotel key, money, and instructions, clearly aiming to make Madison experience the terrifying confusion of such a situation. The next morning, Madison's panic voicemails confirm Cassie's plan was effective. Madison woke up in a hotel room with no memory of how she got there, fearing something happened. Cassie calmly marks Madison's name in her notebook, moving on to her next target, Dean Walker. Cassie orchestrates a meeting with Dean Walker at her old medical school, after tricking a young girl into believing she's a makeup artist for a boy band, and then locking her in her car. Cassie asks the dean if she remembers Nina Fisher, but the dean doesn't. However, the dean vividly remembers and praises Al Monroe. Cassie then reveals that Al raped Nina at a party, and the school ignored Nina's report, fearing it would ruin Al's future. The dean defends the school's actions, citing lack of evidence and implying Nina was partly to blame due to her drinking. Cassie calmly refutes this. Cassie then reveals that the dean's own daughter is in a similar compromising situation in the same dorm room where Nina was assaulted, drinking with boys. The dean is initially disbelieving but panics when she realizes Cassie has her daughter's phone. Cassie reassures her that her daughter is safe, simply waiting at a diner. The dean, finally understanding Cassie's point, admits her past mistake. Later, Ryan confronts Cassie about missing their movie plans, showing his patience. Cassie later attempts another setup, but Ryan sees her feigning drunkenness with a stranger, realizing her secret and leaving disappointed. Cassie's third target is the lawyer who helped Al Monroe dismiss Nina's case. She visits him, and to her surprise, he remembers Nina and admits his guilt. He confesses to ruining victims' credibility by finding embarrassing information online and expresses genuine remorse, plagued by insomnia. Cassie, with tears in her eyes, forgives him. Next, Cassie visits Nina's parents. Nina's mother gently urges Cassie to let go of the past and heal. Cassie seems to consider this, as she later looks at Al Monroe's bachelor party Facebook event, her final target, but then deletes her Facebook account and throws away her notebook of names, seemingly ready to move on. Cassie tries to reconcile with Ryan, apologizing for her actions and promising to stop. He initially doesn't accept, but later appears at her coffee shop, asks her out, and they share a kiss. A montage shows their blossoming relationship, with Ryan meeting Cassie's parents. They eventually confess their love for each other, and everything seems perfect. However, this peace is shattered when Madison confronts Cassie, anxious about what happened during their encounter. Cassie explains she didn't harm Madison, only wanted to teach her a lesson. Madison then reveals a shocking truth, a video from the night Nina was assaulted. Cassie watches in horror as the video shows Al Monroe assaulting Nina, and Ryan's voice is heard in the background, confirming he witnessed it and did nothing. Devastated, Cassie confronts Ryan with the video. He denies involvement until he hears his own voice. Cassie demands the location of Al Monroe's bachelor party, threatening to expose him if he refuses. Ryan, scared, gives her the address. Cassie prepares for her final act of revenge. Dressed as a nurse, she goes to the remote cabin where the bachelor party is held. The men, expecting a stripper, don't question her presence. Al is initially hesitant, but eventually joins in. Cassie offers everyone drugged drinks, then takes Al upstairs. She ties him to the bed, pretending it's a game. Al insists he's a good guy, but Cassie reveals her true identity. She is Nina Fisher, implying Nina is her chosen identity or that she's acting on Nina's behalf. Al panics, realizing it's a trap. As he struggles, Cassie tells him no one downstairs can hear him, as they are all unconscious. She demands he admit what he did to Nina. Al initially insists it was consensual, but Cassie reveals there's video proof. He breaks down, begging for mercy. Cassie explains how Nina's life was ruined and how she dropped out of medical school to support her. Cassie takes out a surgical blade, intending to permanently mark him, but Al frees a hand, grabs a pillow, and suffocates her in a long, brutal scene lasting over 2 minutes. Cassie dies. The next morning, Al's friend Joe finds Cassie's body. Without question, he helps Al cover up the murder. They burn Cassie's body in a chilling scene, with Joe even pushing her hand into the flames with his foot. Later, Cassie's parents report her missing, but the police dismiss it, given Cassie's history. A detective visits Ryan, who lies about not seeing Cassie. The case is closed on Al Monroe's wedding day. Everything seems normal until Ryan receives a scheduled message from Cassie asking, "Did you really think it was over?" Sirens are heard. It's revealed that Cassie had meticulously planned everything. Before going to the cabin, she sent a video and the party location to her lawyer with instructions to act if anything happened to her. The police arrive at the wedding and arrest Al for Cassie's murder. Cassie's final message to Ryan reads, "Enjoy the wedding. Love, Cassie and Nina." This implies Nina's spirit and memory fueled Cassie's entire mission, making them one in her pursuit of justice.